Imagine waking up in a place where survival depends on winning twisted games, and losing means death. It's been 3 years since Squid Game became a global phenomenon. Now, with its highly anticipated second season finally here, fans are once again captivated by the show. But something darker has surfaced. Rumors that the show is inspired by a horrific real-life story, The Brothers' Home. Could something like this really have happened? How much of this is true? And what's the dark reality behind this viral claim? Squid Game is a South Korean dystopian survival thriller. The show follows 456 desperate contestants, each drowning in financial hardship, who compete in deadly children's games for a massive prize, increasing with every person who loses a game, and of course, losing means death. The brilliance of Squid Game lies in its portrayal of desperation and survival. It's not just a show about deadly games, it's a mirror held up to society, exposing the harsh realities of class disparity and unchecked capitalism. Think about the contestants, people drowning in debt, willing to risk their lives for a chance at financial freedom. From payday loans to mounting student debt, millions across the globe are trapped in their own financial struggle. Hwang drew inspiration from his own struggles and the stark class divide in South Korea, crafting a story that critiques capitalism and societal inequality. While the script was written in 2009, it wasn't until Netflix began expanding its global programming in 2019 that the show found its platform, and eventually became a global sensation. Why are we drawn to stories of human suffering, whether fictional or real? Does it help us empathize, or does it desensitize us? The creator took these struggles and turned them into a high-stake drama that speaks to all of us. But could a show like Squid Game be inspired by real events? And what does this have to do with The Brothers' Home? That's where the story takes a darker turn. The Brothers' Home, an internment camp masquerading as a welfare facility, was a dark chapter in South Korean history. Located in Busan during the 1970s and 1980s, it became infamous for horrifying human rights abuses. At its core, the camp symbolized a societal effort to cleanse cities of the poor, orphaned and disabled. Authorities would round up anyone deemed a vagrant, a term so loosely defined that even unattended children could be taken without their parents' knowledge. These detainees were subjected to forced labor, abuse and inhumane conditions, hidden behind the facade of rehabilitation. The Brothers' Home was not a game, but for its victims, it might as well have been a nightmare. During the 1970s and the 80s, South Korea was undergoing rapid economic growth. But that progress came at a cost. The government wanted to clean up its cities, removing anyone who didn't fit their vision of prosperity. The Brothers' Home became a destination for many of these people. Officially, it was a welfare facility. In reality, it was a prison. Survivors recalled being forced into back-breaking labor for up to 20 hours a day. They were beaten for being disobedient, denied food, and left in conditions that would shock the world if they were exposed today. To truly understand the Brothers' Home, we need to look at the South Korea of the 1970s and 80s. This was a time of immense change. The country was recovering from the devastation of the Korean War and transitioning into a global economic powerhouse. But with progress came growing pains. The government, led by Park Chung-hee, was determined to present a clean, prosperous image to the world. Unfortunately, this meant marginalizing anyone who didn't fit that image. Policies was enacted to cleanse cities of vagrants, often with little regard of human rights. The Brothers' Home was a product of its era, a dark stain on an otherwise inspiring story of national progress. It's a reminder that even as societies advance, we must never forget the most vulnerable among us. Enter social media, where truth and fiction often blur. Following second season release of Squid Game, a TikTok video claimed that a real-life Squid Game took place in 1986. The post alleged that people were held in a bunker and forced to play deadly games to survive. It wasn't long before AI-generated images began circulating, seemingly confirming the claim. However, these eerie visuals were created by a Turkish artist, who later clarified that his work has been misused. The viral TikTok, shared over 17,000 times, was nothing more than a fabrication. The idea of a real-life Squid Game is a compelling story. It's the kind of headline that grabs attention, but it also reveals a darker truth about our relationship with media. Platforms like TikTok thrive on shock value. When a claim goes viral, it spreads like wildfire. Whether it's true or not. That's exactly what happened with the Brothers' home. A few AI-generated images paired with an outlandish claim was all it took to convince thousands of people that a real-life Squid Game had taken place. And let's be honest, it's not just social media. Even traditional media outlets sometimes prioritize sensationalism over fact-checking. The line between entertainment and misinformation is blurrier than ever. So, how can we separate fact from fiction in a world where AI-generated content can look so convincing? This raises a crucial question. As technology advances, how do we ensure that truth isn't lost in a sea of viral claims? The story of Brothers' home deserves to be remembered for what it was, not distorted into something it wasn't. So, while Squid Game may echo themes of societal oppression and survival, it's not tied to atrocities of the Brothers' home. However, the real-life horrors of that time are a sobering reminder of the lengths humanity has gone in the name of control and conformity. What do you think about this connection? Is it fair to draw parallels between fiction and reality? Or does it do more harm than good? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into stories behind the headlines.